Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Crazy Taco Survival Garden Part 7. And this is it today. We've got an update on the garden and just all the fruits of the labor coming through. There's always challenges in the garden, like ants, bad soil, different kinds of things happening, and it's always something to overcome. But you can go a long way in just a couple months. As you can see, this is what the garden looked like in the beginning. And now, just a couple months into the season, it's changed quite a bit. Some of the fruits of our labors, we've got tomatoes and cucumbers, tomatillas coming out the yin-yang, green peppers, and we've got some mysterious plants coming up from the last people that we're about to investigate. So check it out. So on this side of the garden, we've determined that what these are some pumpkin plants. And they were planted here before we came and sprouted up, and you've seen them in previous videos, and I believe the one behind it is a sunflower. But these are really exploded over the past month or so, and as you can see, they're starting to bear some fruit. So we're gonna have a lot going on with this plant. It's pretty big. This one we think is the same thing, and it's just taken over this whole side of the garden. Starting off with the original tomatoes, we're getting a lot of fruit here, and as you can see, we're having still trouble with some bottom rot on some of them. But these ones are looking pretty good, and they're getting really close. Like this one's turning orange. It's got a little bottom rot, but these ones, the newer ones, don't. And so what that really means, guys, is that there's a couple things going on. There might be a lack of calcium in the soil. Here's a great example. And there might also be an inconsistency in watering. So we've tried to nail that down and put calcium in the soil. I'll show you the fertilizer that we used, and to help reduce that. We've had inconsistent rains, so I think that has something to do with it. But these tomato plants are absolutely huge. The tomatillas here have given us quite a few so far. And as you can see, we got them everywhere in here. So many of them. The pepper plants that we planted are really starting to come out. Lots of little tiny ones coming up here. Some more green peppers that are pretty much ready to go. They're a little hard to see with all this green, but they're in there. It's looking very healthy. We're gonna have a lot of green peppers coming. These are all the original pepper plants that we created. This one's got kind of an interesting shape to it. But this just goes to show, with a little bit of effort, you can do urban gardening of your own. The onions are getting huge. So just look at what you can do with some brand new soil and some heirloom seeds. The cherry tomato plants are, I don't know, 4 or 5 feet tall. Lots of little cherries coming out everywhere. We've been harvesting quite a few of these. Some of the flowers we planted are doing really well. Some of the later tomato plants have just taken over this garden bed. The peppers that I planted later on are really starting to come up now. Not quite getting the fruit, but I'd say in the next 2 weeks or so, you can see that they're starting to blossom and have flowers. So I'd say that they're about ready. And the one garden bed that I didn't know would do anything, the potato plants actually came. So there's a bunch of weeds in here too that I haven't pulled out lately, but these main 2 plants right here are the potatoes that I planted. And they've got lots of new growth, so we'll see at the end of the season how those do. Here's another look at some of the tomatoes we got. They're getting ready. Looks like this guy fell off. Some bottom rot too. I could probably just feed that to the chickens. Need to get in here and do some pruning. Shouldn't let those tomato leaves touch the ground. There's just so many of them, it's hard for me to even manage at this point. They did way better than I expected. Basil down here really killing it. And then our cucumbers are the star of the show. Check these bad boys out. They've really come along since even the last video. We put up this trellis to help them kind of grow up here. We got a baby cucumber coming in. We've already harvested 6 or 7, 8 of them. If you look around through here, there'll probably be some more. They like to hide under the leaves. But as you can see, there's 3 coming in right here. We've got a big one right there that's ready to go. This guy's pretty much done. I'm gonna take him off. So really interesting how many cucumbers we've got. We're gonna start pickling them in a next video. Cover pickling, or we might use them for this weekend's housewarming party. Serve them up in some salad, and I'm sure we'll have plenty more to learn about pickling as well. So between all the tomatoes and cucumbers we get, we're gonna do pickling and canning and learn how to preserve that food. This is the last tomato plant that I planted, and it's just blowing up over here. One thing that you can do to help encourage tomatoes to grow, when you have these like elbows right here, you can pluck that center stem on each one, and it helps the plant concentrate and grow the tomatoes better. So I usually try to get through once a week and pluck those out. Find any of them that I can. Like this guy here, that middle one, just take them out. And you can always feed those right to the chickens. Our lettuce started to bolt, so we went ahead and cut the heads off. Fed them to the chickens as well. But we've got 2 other good lettuce plants going here under the tomato bush. So this is the calcium nitrate fertilizer that we got to help the tomatoes with their bottom rot. As you can see, it's advertised right here on the package. It's a 15.5-00. So it's just high yielding calcium and nitrates, a little bit different than some of the other fertilizers that we've used. And I'm really hoping this one will solve the bottom rot totally. That on top of watering twice a day, we should get it. One of the best parts about having chickens at the Urban Taco Ranch is that when you have a little extra food, you can feed it to them. They love that stuff. It's good to give them a diverse diet. You can pick different weeds from the garden, succulent plants, different things like that, tomato leaves that you pruned, leftover food, you know, vegetables and fruits mainly. I don't try to feed them any meat, but they really like this stuff. If you see here, we have some succulent weeds that are growing all over Colorado, and these are great to feed the chickens because it really helps improve the creaminess and flavor of their eggs. And so I'm going to pull a bunch of this stuff from the yard and just go ahead and feed it to them. Get those succulent weeds in there. They really love these things. They tend to fight over the food, but when there's so much stuff on the ground, they just go for it. It's like a free-for-all. Chicken. So there you have it. Survival Gardening episode number 6. The fruits of our labors are coming. Lots of tomatoes, everything else happening. I'm excited for the feast and this harvest. Checking those potatoes out later. We're going to make some videos about canning, pickling, and I'm going to also get back to some of my other videos about smelting metals and survival tactics. So stay tuned to the YouTube channel. Give that like and subscribe if you can. And check me out going live on YouTube at Patriot TV. All music in this video exclusively produced by Live 1707. Much love.